Welcome to this week's video. Today is going to be a shorter video. I know I sometimes say that and then I tend to go on and on, but today really it's all about giving yourself permission. I just want to open up this energy and this idea that you get to bring all of you to the table. You get to show up completely as you are. You get to bring the mess and really understanding that there are gifts in the mess. And so, my invitation for you is just to allow yourself to receive this a little bit of a channeled and intuitive share that I'm doing today, but also a little reflection on the hundreds of people that I've worked with and how the mess actually is the gold. If we will allow it to be there and allow it to move, and often allow it to be witnessed. So, yeah, I hope to do that for you today, even though it's in video form. So, I will see you in just a moment. So, what do I mean by bringing the mess or being in the mess or bringing all of you to the table? And what are the benefits of this? And even more importantly, do you want this to be witnessed by other people? And so, you might not think you want any of this. You might not think there are benefits to this mess or this place that we can be in sometimes that isn't so perfect. It doesn't have everything put together, doesn't have everything figured out. And so, really, again, my invitation for you today is just to be open to this and allow this to open a crack within you, wherever you are, to allow more of you to shine through, to allow more of you to be witnessed. And it doesn't always have to be just the shiny, really good stuff. Because yeah, there really are some really, really good things in the mess, right? Or the bad, even sometimes. So yeah, I do love it. In my experience, I love it when clients have big wins and I love when they have big shifts. But the bottom line is, and the truth is, the work that I do, most of the work I do is holding space for the mess. It's honestly what I do. And it's such an honor to be able to do that. And it's such a gift that I get to give them. Because they get to be witnessed in their fear, in their doubt, in their insecurities, in their vulnerabilities, to have the space to express anger, frustration, that I want to give up, right? And so it's so, so important that these emotions, because they are human, are allowed to be witnessed and expressed. And so I have talked lots in other videos around moving the energy and letting the energy process out of you or the emotions be felt. And, that we can really process emotions in like 90 seconds, right? We can do all of that. But in this case, sometimes we're in a place where it might be a long period of time, or it might just be a specific week that's really tough and there's just a lot going on, and maybe your nervous system isn't feeling so great and there's lots of things coming at you. Yeah, or maybe it's a prolonged period of a struggle with something. And so it's so cathartic to be able to have all of this be witnessed, right? This mess, this everything. And so it's not so much about venting. I will say vibrationally, venting is slightly better than keeping it in. But we really want to bring it with the, excuse me, the intention of allowing it to be processed and witnessed. And that's a bit different than venting, because often venting is sort of thrown at people. So it's not great for the person receiving, and it's not actually great for the person doing it. So it's a little bit of nuance here in terms of when you are sort of showing up in the mess. And often that mess is going to be really underlaid with emotion. So a lot of times when we're venting, we are telling the story. But when we are allowing our mess to be witnessed, or where we're sharing all the things that are going on, we might start with a story, which is fine to open up the door. But ultimately underneath, we're getting into those deeper feelings, really, as I mentioned earlier: fear, doubt, sadness, insecurity, vulnerability, anger, frustration, right? These emotions that we often don't allow ourselves to express even to ourselves, let alone do it in front of other people. And so again, just to clarify, it is so, so common and so human, and so we don't want to not be human, right? It's I mean, I'll talk lots of times about being able to shift and being able to expand and right, sort of elevating and getting to the next level. And absolutely, we do want to do that, but that doesn't come without some mess in the middle. And so I could phrase it as a sabotage thing or an upper limits, which on some level it is, but I'm really wanting for you to connect more on a personal or human level and less in an intellectual way today. And so it's often, when people are sort of putting themselves out in the world or they're trying to shift or trying to make different things happen in your life, then that's when these things are going to start to show up for us. And so, yeah, so it's just really important for you to allow them to be there and be present. And ultimately, it's likely. I don't like using cliches too much, but it is that idea around a breakdown before you break through. I don't love that specifically. So I'm not even sure why I'm saying it in this moment, but it just to give you an idea of what I'm meaning here when we kind of get to this place where we yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube, so I won't, but the whatever hits the fan, right? So it really is this just an understanding that when you are in this place where it does feel really messy, when I say messy, it's often just a whole bunch of things that are happening that we don't know how to process, we don't know how to be with. Things are shifting, the ground is unstable beneath us. There's lots of reasons this can happen, but it often feels like just a little bit too much for us to handle. And so that's what I'm talking about, the mess. And so just really understanding that it is because you are making progress and you're moving forward. And ultimately, there's some gold right underneath there. So I think that's the first thing I really wanted to, not that I need to give you permission, but often it's important to hear that. And some of I'm just even going to say, like I wrote down just a couple of phrases from some of my clients. And again, these are people who at all levels, but some people really, really high level. And it's this idea of like, you help me get my crap out of the way fast and create a safe space for exploration where I can do and say anything and it's all okay, right? And that's what it's really all about, just allowing the fullness of who you are to be expressed. And to be witnessed. So I'll talk about the witness piece in a moment, but I do want to talk a little bit about the gifts of the mess. And so really you could think about the image of a butterfly, cocoon and butterfly, which is often sort of shared in the transformational world. And so I'm going to use it in this moment because it's an easy one for us to connect with. So the mess is actually not the cocoon, right? It's the chrysalis. It's the crap that the sorry, I'm not a science teacher, but that the caterpillar is like kind of goes to mush before it becomes the butterfly, right? And so that's actually what the chrysalis is. That's the mush. That's the mess. And really ultimately it is the gold that is going to produce the butterfly. So what's happening in this time of mess or transition or uncertainty or everything kind of coming at you at once or just a sense of an up leveling within you that you can't quite keep up with, whatever it is for you, really what's happening is that you are shedding old layers, old ways of being, old ways of operating, old ways of showing up, old ways of what you allow into your experience, what you tolerate, all of these things. And it feels messy because it's uncomfortable because these layers have been with you for a while. Maybe they're socially acceptable layers, right? Or you've yeah, you've kind of done things, you've kind of kept it to be comfortable and to fit in and all of those things. And so as we start to shed, it feels messy because we actually, as I said, you have to feel things as they're processed out. And so it doesn't have to be a long, slow process. It can sometimes be, but we can process emotions. And basically, as you shed a layer, you kind of have to feel it a little bit as it leaves you, right? It's like a little bit of a detox. So you're actually going to feel the uncomfortableness of that, whether it's a protection layer that's helped keep you feel safe, or it's a layer that you're letting go of that feels like very vulnerable to let go of. on some level, there's something underneath that needs to be felt, really a feeling, right? Ultimately, a feeling or an emotion that needs to be felt. And so, and often these are feelings and emotions that we don't really love feeling, right? We just like to feel happy and good. And we feel like we're supposed to all the time. But in fact, the feeling, yeah, there's lots of underlying or underbelly kind of feelings that we all have because we're human and we do need to let them move because they are just energy, right? And so we just need to um, understand that when we shed, it's a little bit uncomfortable, and that's why it feels messy. But that is a gift because you are shedding, right? You're literally getting rid of old stuff that is you've outgrown, really. And you're also building or birthing, whatever you want to call it, the next iteration of you. So as you're in this chrysalis, as you're in the mess, you are letting go of this old shell, as you know, the cocoon, and you are birthing the butterfly, which is the next iteration of you. So it's taking shape, but it's not fully formed yet. It's a bit unknown. And we as humans don't like the feeling of unknown. We don't like transition. We like to be in control. And so all of that feels kind of messy for us because we don't know we don't know exactly what's coming, and that's a little scary for us. But ultimately, it means that you are elevating and you're growing and expanding. And so, really, this is the gift of the mess. And so, if you can, the mess, if you can put that lens over top of it and allow, first of all, yourself for it to be okay that you, even within yourself, that you're sometimes a little bit messy. There again, I worked with and hundreds of people, men, women, all levels. We all have mess. I have mess. We all have mess, right? We all have stuff that is yeah, that kind of comes up and we're like, oh, I don't like how I'm feeling. I don't like how I'm showing up. I don't like that you're seeing me like this. Whatever it is, we all have it. But it is because you're on the precipice of shedding the old and stepping into something new. It really is. And so that's number one, giving yourself permission to just have it. And then if you can allow yourself to be witnessed in it, that's even more powerful. And so it may be working with someone like myself, who's a coach or an energy worker, right? On some level, that can be very cathartic and very there's a skill set, obviously, that I have in holding space for that. And it doesn't have to be, right? It can be a really good friend who can hold space for you. Ultimately, you want it to be someone, a partner, a sibling, right? A family member, a colleague, right? You will know the people with whom you can share this, right? That will hold the space without judgment, but yeah, maybe some support, maybe some guidance, but just really allowing that messiness to be there, those tears to be there if they're there, the anger to be there if it needs to be there. Because it often just allows, again, it allows us to express it, and it allows our soul loves to be witnessed and seen, right? And so it is just layers that are being shed through this. And so then what gets reflected back to us is that next layer. So it is such a beautiful experience. I really just wanted to highlight that it's great to give the permission to yourself, but it's even more powerful if you allow yourself to be witnessed. And it's vulnerable, and it's courageous actually to allow yourself to be witnessed. But it is going to allow you to open up something within yourself that is going to be very healing for you and very likely healing for the other person, right? And in terms of hiring someone who is professional, it's still healing work for me when I do it with people. I'm so privileged to be able to do the work that I do. And it will be healing for you. And so what it's just going to allow in that witnessing is that the expression is there, and it's just going to allow you to reconnect to who you are at your core, to allow it to be okay to express all of who you are. It will allow you to feel more powerful within yourself, right? Because again, when we show our shadow and our light are all our gifts, really, they all kind of sort of blend together. Our shadow is often what opens up our light, right? We don't have to not look at some areas of ourselves that we don't want. We don't have to not feel things that aren't what we're supposed to be feeling, right? And so all of that is just going to actually allow you to really feel more of a spark within you and allow you to show up a little brighter, play a little bit bigger. And that's what's really going to happen to you in whatever way that is for you, whether that is through your career, your business, your partnerships, whatever, however you're showing up in the world. It's just going to allow a more fully embodied version of you. And so today, just really wanted to give you this permission in this moment to take a breath, to really be who you are in this moment, wherever you're at, to be who you are, to be where you are, right? Allowing all of that to be okay. Allow that to be expressed if it needs to, whether it is, if you can have it be witnessed by someone else, fantastic. If not, you can witness yourself. Allow yourself to cry some tears or punch a pillow or do something reflective and go within and sort of tune into yourself and see what it is that you need. I have tons of videos all over the place here that can guide you around all of this, even something like tapping in a way that lets you vent what's going on for you. It's not about staying here forever because no one wants that, but it is about allowing this energy to be allowed to be there and the emotions to be allowed to be there and to be moved and to process. And then that's going to allow really the gold that's within you to shine more brightly. And so I hope that there's just, again, this isn't a teaching thing today. It was really just this idea of just understanding that we all have mess. It's okay. It's human. It's part of our life path. It's part of our journey. It's in fact what gets us to the other side, to the gold. Give yourself permission. Let yourself be witnessed in all of who you are. And yeah, do what needs to be done in the moment to allow that part of you to be seen and to be expressed. So again, even if it is just you taking some time for yourself to do that. And as always, if you feel like you would like some support, further support around this, as I mentioned, there's tons of videos here that will help you do lots of these things, right? I can't even name them all, but basically everything on my channel is to help you be in the chrysalis and move from the cocoon to the butterfly. Really, it's not even the cocoon because most people in my world aren't even in the cocoon anymore. They're kind of in the chrysalis and they're really stepping into the butterfly. So take a look around, subscribe if you have not subscribed. Love to hear any takeaways, any insights that you have. And yeah, if you are feeling like you would like some support at this point in your journey, definitely reach out. There are links below where you can read a little bit about especially the one-on-one services that I offer. And if it feels like you want to connect, then we can have a conversation. There's a link there to do that. And I'd love to support you. It's really what I do in the world. It's my gift. So I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and giving yourself some ease, giving yourself some grace, giving yourself permission to be fully who you are. And you're going to notice as soon as you do that, things will start to open up for you. So have a great week and we'll see you next week.